rugged outdoorsman, world traveler, renowned adventurer. In 2026, he set his sights on the Portuguese island of Madeira. To descend its lush, vertiginous canyons would require a flawless team. Instead, he would have to settle for these two oafs.
Mark.
So Mark decided that we were the Sweet Boyz.
And so Mark posted these photos, was like, my Sweet Boyz. So of course Jason just like latched onto that.
If Mark is gonna call us the Sweet Boyz, who am I to question that?
That's how we became the Sweet Boyz.
Mark likes to save money, and this is often reflected in his choice of rental cars.
He pulls up in what I affectionately call a mini micro machine.
It didn't really have a trunk.
We were able to fit everything inside of the car.
Camping gear, canyon gear, and then just regular travel gear for 3 people.
It was tight. Yeah, so Mark flew in.
As far as I know, he had had no sleep.
I guess he had been like traveling for the last 2 days.
He went and rented a car, met us, drove us an hour across the island. We set up camp, we went grocery shopping.
Put our stuff down and went and hit a canyon. The first obstacle was finding the canyon, which is key to descending it. Madeira has these settlements, and it's like these like terraced villages, which are so beautiful, overlooking the ocean.
You think this is the trail?
I think we might be low.
And all kinds of footpaths.
So even if you have a GPS track for the approach, and even if you have descriptions, and even if you have photographs, it's not always super clear where to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna retrace our steps.
We did finally find the canyon though, and descended it.
Big exciting thing at the end is when you turn this corner and you just see the ocean ahead.
It's just like this blue ocean, which is just spectacular.
And it doesn't drop into the ocean, but it does drop onto this old abandoned road that skirts the ocean. So you get to rappel down, ocean's behind you, get onto this little beach. And just kind of enjoy the view and hike back out. That was an awesome way to get introduced to the island.
I used to have this like recurring dream of these locations where I would go canyoneering, and it was this high ridge, green with waterfalls pouring off. When I first went to Madeira and saw that, it was like, this is like in my dreams.
So I was seated in a window seat so I could look out onto the island as we were flying in, and it's just super steep. You can see all these like deep canyons, there's waterfalls pouring down from everywhere.
Very rugged, very steep, and wet, which is all the great combinations for amazing canyons. It really is just like the perfect place to go canyoneering.
So the guidebook referred to our second canyon as one of the Ex-Libris canyons of Madeira.
We assumed it meant like the quintessential.
Amazing, awesome.
Hortela is like kind of the quintessential Madeira canyon.
And so it became a running gag to refer to anything that was a good experience as Ex-Libris. This is an Ex-Libris rappel. This is an Ex-Libris view. This is an Ex-Libris sandwich. Keep going, right? The approach to Hortela is amazing. So first you walk through this gorgeous jungle area, you cross this river, and then you start the ascent into the jungle.
You hike up this really steep path.
But it's not really that bad, and it's not that long, and it's shaded the whole way, which is fantastic. And then you come up to the flat part and the lavadas, which are the channels, the irrigation.
It's maybe 12 inches wide or so. You know, it has a little path next to it and it's pretty flat.
And then we hike alongside one to get to the drop into the canyon. But what we didn't expect is that we would come across this section with just waterfalls pouring in from all sides.
Just like this magical scene.
And you have to skirt around this kind of half circle of waterfalls. And then ultimately arrive at the biggest, most intimidating of those waterfalls.
You come around to the waterfall and you can see behind it into this dark tunnel.
With a cave behind it and our drop-in over a fence down into the canyon. And that alone was just an awesome way to start this canyon.
You know, we suit up there and kind of drop over the edge, and it's just this straight drop down into this like dark pool lined with ferns.
I don't remember if that was the biggest drop in the canyon, but it's definitely one of the biggest drops. And it's gorgeous. It's definitely Ex-Libris drop into the canyon.
One of the things with European canyons that's quite a bit different from the US is they have ReBelay station.
And so what ReBelays are is they are a shorter drop that gets you over to the main drop. And so that way you can put your bolts out on the drop, straight line to the ground.
So it makes the rope pull much easier, rope management much easier, but you have to rig a shorter rappel from an easier accessible place out to the station.
And then you make your way, 20, 30 feet over to where the main drop is gonna be, but then you've gotta kind of set up a system because everyone else has to meet you there and then rappel down as well. And so ReBelays are something that all three of us have done before, but that none of us had done recently. And so it took us a little while to get reaccustomed to doing ReBelays.
It's two guys like hanging together and it's pretty awkward sometimes.
Uncomfortable positions with no ledge, pressed up against each other, pressed up against the rocks.
It's like, okay, where do I clip it? Clip right here. Okay, unattach this, and it's just like this jumble of stuff.
Trying to get in a position, trying to make it easier for the next person, trying to manage gear and ropes.
Meanwhile, below you, a couple hundred feet below, the water is coming down, and it's quite an experience.
I'm having fun! But as the trip progressed, we definitely got more efficient and faster with the ReBelays. It was our longest day, most drops, and then most varied.
Narrow, lush.
Variety of waterfalls, then like a narrow section, rocky sections.
Kind of sinuous, deep, dark gorge section where it's like not much vegetation, but these deep pools, and it kind of winds through a series of rappels.
Really did kind of have a little bit of everything to offer. And much like the guidebook said, Hortela was very much an Ex-Libris canyon. So we stayed in the northwestern side of the island, an area called Seixal.
So we settled into this campground with its own resident cat.
This amazing campground called Gaya camping. It's donation only, primitive, bare minimum camping, but the hosts were super nice. They were there every day trying to improve it and add things.
Cake every day from the owners.
The wife baked a new chocolate cake every single day, and it got eaten every single day. And so a lot of people were hiking across the island, and kind of the thought with this campground is those thru hikers have a place to stay for a night before they move on. And so we would meet people who were hiking, and all of them were telling us that it was really hard to find camping. A lot of sites were closed or expensive. And so Gaya Camping was one of the few campgrounds on the island, and it was also free. So treat that place well, please. Alden kept looking up canyons on YouTube, and he kept coming across this one called Funda. Over and over again, all of the videos were about Funda.
You're in this tunnel.
There are side tunnels at a 90-degree angle that look like you should not drive down.
There's no turning lane or anything. You just have to like slow down and like take a hard right turn.
And we were not sure this was correct because one, it says, don't go this way. Two, the tunnel that you're turning into is descending downward, and all you can see at the end is the ocean. Then it opens up and you're on that old abandoned road, and it's on a section where it is overgrown on either side and covered in rockfall.
And you're overlooking the ocean, and then you go back around left.
And now there's a new tunnel, but this one goes up, turns into a bridge, and that bridge looks over the canyon.
And you go through another tunnel, and then suddenly you're at this village of, I don't know, probably less than 100 people.
That is where you park, and then you hike past these buildings out into the canyon.
God, that rappel was so beautiful. The sun was shining right into the waterfall, just this beautiful rainbow. Crashing down around you. It's pouring down, and the light is coming down, and the ferns are glowing green, and that was just a spectacular rappel. I remember just looking up and kind of getting lost in that moment, and this like euphoria of being in this canyon and this like beautiful environment. And it's just this surreal like fairy tale land. Coming down to the end of the canyon, overlooking the blue Atlantic Ocean, and
beautiful drop. You come down onto this rocky beach, that old abandoned road is there, and the ocean right in front of you. I see the ocean, I want to go swim.
Jason had the bright idea of like, yeah, I'm gonna go in the water. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Sounds great.
And apparently it wasn't a good idea.
So I go in the water and like, there's like these boulders. And I'm just like, first wave comes, I'm like knocked over. Okay, I did it. I'm going.
They had built all these roads along the coast of Madeira. They were mostly destroyed at some point by rockfall, so they've mostly abandoned them.
I don't know how old that road is, but it's just totally covered with vegetation and like...
Because they've been abandoned, they've just been retaken by nature.
You can hike on them and it makes great access for these canyons that end in the ocean.
And you go along this abandoned road, sometimes which has huge gaping holes in it, till you get back to your car. And so everything about Funda was cool. The drive, the approach, the canyon, ocean, and then this super cool hike out along the abandoned road. So I was there for 5 days. We did 4 canyons, so that meant we had a free day. We got to hike around a little bit, check out this super misty area with all these old trees. We got to drive up onto the top of the island, kind of up on a plateau, up above everything. And then there are also what they call the natural swimming pools, which is where they kind of close off an area and they let the natural seawater come in. And so we swam in one of those pools, we visited the beach. I flew out and they had a week left to do 4 more canyons and whatever other mayhem the remaining Sweet Boyz got up to while I was gone.
So the last canyon we did all together was Vimieiro.
Very similar approach to Hortela. It started at the same place. And then you get to a smaller waterfall and drop into the most jungle-like of all the canyons that we did.
All of the canyons are lush, they have different characteristics, and this one was just these giant ferns coming across into the canyon, and it really felt like you were kind of like exploring this jungle and bunches of flowers, and it's just like you're in this beautiful, pristine jungle setting with this like water course going through.
Beautiful final canyon to do for my trip, and unique and special in its own way.
Sometimes you kind of get into this groove of, you know, all the technical stuff, but you stop and just look at this environment and, you know, realize that so few people will ever see this. It really is just like the perfect place to go canyoneering.
And that's it from the Sweet Boyz.